President Biden meeting once again with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy today at the White House, hoping to defuse the approaching debt crisis. The Treasury Department warns that a first ever default could be just 10 days away. Fox's Doug Luzader joins us live from Washington, D.C. Doug, good morning.
Good morning. Possible default 10 days away. This meeting at the White House sounds like it's about 7 hours away. The president is slated to sit down with the Speaker of the House to see if they can reach a deal. President Biden looked tired as he came home to the White House last night, well after 10 o'clock. It went well. We'll talk tomorrow, he said, referring to talks he had with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy while he was flying home from Japan on board Air Force One. According to McCarthy, the conversation went well, but it sounds like they still have a long way to go.
I've been very clear to him from the very beginning. We have to spend less money than we spent last year.
The president is resisting spending cuts, and the Treasury Secretary repeated her warnings that a default, leaving the government unable to borrow more money to pay the bills, could be just days away.
I certainly haven't changed my assessment, so I think that that's a hard deadline.
A hard deadline, and if the president gives in to spending cuts or even some limited work requirements for welfare programs that Republicans are pushing for, far-left lawmakers will be furious.
You don't hold the world's economy hostage in order to impose vicious cuts on some of the most vulnerable people in this country.
And some are pushing for Biden to invoke the 14th Amendment and bypass Congress, a legally uncertain path. The president says if there's no deal, he shouldn't be blamed.
On the merits, based on what I've offered, I would be blameless. On the politics of it, no one will be blameless.
Okay, now whoever gets blamed if this happens, this meeting today at the White House will take place at 5:30. And it's not, even though this is a meeting between McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, and the President, it's not just what the two of them want. It's a question of also what they can agree on that can get through Congress. And tolerances here are very, very tight. So this is going to get dicey. Back to you guys.
So, Doug, if they come up with some top-line spending limits so they don't have to raise the debt ceiling, then somebody's going to feel that. But if they don't come to an agreement, as Bernie Sanders said, some very vulnerable populations are going to feel that too.
Well, they've got to come up with some kind of an agreement to raise the debt ceiling, even if there were significant spending cuts. We overspend to such a degree that you just simply cannot cut enough out of the budget to get around the idea of borrowing money. And it's a problem that eventually is going to have to be solved. But for now, it's just a question of how much they raise the debt ceiling and what Republicans get in exchange for doing that.
All right, 10 days or so? June 1st?
Yeah, June 1st. I mean, that's the date that they're talking about. But, you know, again, it's kind of a range. They say it would be June 1st or some amount of days after that. It's really tough to nail down. They have a lot of money that they can move around. They've been doing that, but they can only buy so much time.
All right, we'll see what happens. Doug Luzader, thank you as always, live from Washington.
Deena.